Sheesh. What I'm about to tell you got to be borderline illegal, especially if it's springtime, guys. Oh my God. So check this out. Right now it's getting warm, and I gotta be honest with you. I couldn't even get any coffee. I just gave up trying to get coffee. I'm just gonna go to Norwalk, try to get myself some coffee there. Maybe chill, maybe spend a little bit of time with some pets, cats, and dogs in my brother's house. I think that's what I'm gonna do now, guys. But yeah, the key here, guys, is simple. Number one, if you wanted to get ahead and like make a little bit of money here and there, all you need is just a powerful um, will of power. Yeah. So all you need is a will of power to do something. If you wanted to land a very good job or get like a good deal, then all you need to do is just kind of have the will to pull it off. Now, a lot of you probably wondering, well, how do I develop that will? How do I become stronger? It's springtime. There got to be something better that I could do in life. That happens all the time, guys. When you start kind of with every season, you start reevaluating yourself to see if whatever it is that you did on the season before happens to be better. Now, there's a couple of ways I gotta tell you what works for me as a person for in terms of deciding what makes sense to do with every season. A couple of things. So this is what worked for me, guys. Number one, I watched this Shaolin guys, this Shaolin monk who explained to me how he meditates and how he can just focus and bring a lot of kind of power to his life. Now, um, there's a couple of things that I wanted to tell you. When listening to any kind of Shaolin monks, you got to understand what is your identity, what is the season, and what exactly are you trying to do um, like throughout that season. So you kind of have to lock yourself in a time period, and a time period when you need to be determinative for what you're going to be doing. So let's say in this particular case, what I'm trying to do is a couple of things. Number one, see what are the best options available for me for springtime. Now, guys, I do evaluate myself regularly. Every season, I evaluate myself regularly. And now, with the help of Feudal OS, sheesh, it becomes even simpler. Simply because it integrates with OpenClaw and makes it easy for me to know precisely what is the best opportunity for me to execute during spring. So, in simple words, before I would be like, man, it's springtime. Now, let me think like what I could do. But because entire year passed by, I'd be forgetting what exactly that I was doing last spring that was giving me good money. But the truth is, I cannot be forgetting that stuff because I just simply need a system that reminds me of what I was doing last spring. So this way I could quickly re-engage and jump on all of those side hustles right away during the springtime. So OpenClaw was a fundamental building block that made that a reality for me. Before I was using ChatGPT. The problem with ChatGPT, sooner or later the memory runs out, and it's not really agentic. It doesn't really come back and build things for you. It doesn't really remind you. You can't really stack intelligence on top of it. And plus, it's just it's it's not. It doesn't feel like it doesn't have those emergent properties that I was able to pull off with Feudal OS. And now some of you will say, what is emergent properties, and like how can it help somebody like me, you meaning you, during the season change, to reevaluate you as a person, you yourself as a person, and help you make decision what makes the most sense across your personal life, professional life, and private life. Well, you see, the way I designed Feudal OS is as follows. So part of this Feudal OS, there's this Feudal Educator clay, which is basically like a brain that interconnects to multiple parts of my life, meaning my personal life, my professional, my private life. And what this clay does, it's trained to synthesize on whatever happens throughout the season, whatever happens throughout my life in terms of what I'm doing as I'm interacting continuously with the Feudal Educator Clay through the Feudal OS remotely on my phone. I could control Feudal OS remotely from my phone. I could tap into it. I could see the like if the gateway is shut down or not, that kind of stuff. Plus, what it allows me to do, it reminds me, and not just reminds me, but also builds and pre-builds views, dashboards, and comes back with the most lucrative opportunities for me as a person in terms of my capabilities and in terms of my schedule and in terms of season. So seasonality, when it comes to springtime, and obviously there's more opportunities on the road during springtime. There's certain side hustles that activate that you weren't able to do during the wintertime. Now, in order for me to be able to track all of this and be able to run marketing campaign right away for any of those side hustles and do so on literally with a snap of a finger, I needed to have something like Feudal OS. You see, what Feudal OS does, it has a long-term memory uh, and it has short-term memory. And what it does, it measures like what it does, it improves, it identifies mutual dots of reasons across my personal life, my professional, my passionate life, and it picks those dots, mutual dots of reasons, sort of like a circle. I don't know if you guys took a math class, but it's sort of like a circle that overlaps with another circle, and then you have an intersect of what's in between. So you could think of it as a um, kind of a mutual reasoning for you to do something. But the truth is, you as a person, especially 1 year later from the previous season to the next season, you don't really like, what you did last season, but last season either something didn't really work out for you, you weren't really making good amount of money, maybe you tried something, maybe you got burned out and it didn't really kind of work out at all. So what does Feudal OS does? It looks at the historical activities that you have done in the past. It looks at the what's happening now during the season. It looks at the trends, and it uses research agents that and for research agents, it's I use NotebookLM, where basically Feudal OS reaches out to NotebookLM, grabs the research material, generates research material, and come back to the main agent, to Feudal Educator Clay, that has like sub agents. And the bottom line is, like when that research is being done against my history, against my long-term memory. And the long-term memory I was able to construct with Obsidian. So the way it works, the entire Feudal OS runs on NAS drive locally. So I have a local NAS drive. I bought it like in 2018 ago. I thought I'd never use it until OpenClock came out. That's when I started using it. And now there's this NAS file share that runs on Samba protocol, SIFs, whatever you call it, the Cherry protocol. When you open up the Wireshark, it just goes ballistic in terms of how many packets it has. It's like runs on 445 port. So anyway, that one. Now, if I lost you in any of this, good, because this is advanced topic, guys. Don't expect to have feudal. Don't expect to have super intelligence just because you like may not was not able to understand few terminologies. So remember, guys, the only way you're going to be able to get super intelligence in your bot is if you understand minor nuances, like specific nuances that I'm describing right now, in terms of long-term memory, in terms of NAS drive, in terms of file shares, in terms of Obsidian, in terms of why Obsidian. So guys, look, at the end of this, so now that you already know, like, okay, what's happening in the springtime, so what does Feudal OS does? Feudal OS optimizes my next move, meaning earlier I talked about uh, proxy picks, Uber Eats, and all sorts of side hustles that you could use to make extra income. Sure, that's all good and great. But I never, and of course, Feudal OS helps me optimize those side hustles too. But I never necessarily talked about seasonal side hustling activities that I already tapped into a year ago, and now I want to revive them. But I want to revive them in a most optimal way. So this way, whatever it is that I did last year can be repackaged and reused without me necessarily relearning something new constantly. So this is why Obsidian is perfect for this. Obsidian has this structure you could download on your computer. I'm sure you guys heard of Obsidian. It's a little software you download it on your Windows laptop. For the way this Feudal OS works, it sits as a harness with OpenClaw. And Feudal Educator Clay is like a blanket that is wrapped around on top and thrown on top of any use case, personal use case, professional use case, you name it. And Feudal Educator Clay has emergent properties. What I mean by emergent. Number one, it's not like ChatGPT that doesn't have any concept of time. It comes back. It understands it understands seasonality. It understands um, things that I do at work, multiple things that I do on private basis, on personal basis, and professional basis. It identifies the mutual benefits across all of those different parts of my life and the mutual reasoning for anybody else who's involved in any of those parts of my life together with me as part of my talent agency. So, in simple words, there's multiple identities that are involved in every part of like, let's say I'm doing university thing, which is part of my professional endeavor. Sure, when I do university thing, there's instructors, there's faculty members, there's all those different identities, there's students. So what the Feudal OS does, it's able to synthesize the mutual benefits across all those parties and make it extremely like compatible. So this way I don't get hit for violation and compliance or anything like this. It makes it really easily compatible. Now, with Feudal OS and the springtime opportunities comes extra kind of a opportunity to do more. What Feudal Educator does, it identifies what I did in the previous springtime, the new springtime, and comes back and literally says, okay, Rome, today you're going to be doing car detailing. Why? Because look, last spring it didn't work out. This spring is going to work out more. Here's what you need to do. Here's a plan. I'm going to go ahead and blast an ad on Nextdoor. I'm going to reach out. We're going to see if we could get some leads coming in. so, so yeah, right now I'm heading out to get some coffee and cranberry muffin. I was gonna get it over here in Stanford, but when I saw a line, I was like, man, I think I'm gonna pass. I'm gonna pass. So anyway, going back to Feudal OS. So Feudal OS is kind of bonkers, guys. Like what it allows me to do is something that I just wasn't able to do ever before OpenClaw. Now, Feudal OS, behind Feudal OS, there's OpenClaw. Now, OpenClaw is like, obviously, you guys already know what OpenClaw. I'm not going to talk too much about that. But um, like the reason why Feudal OS works for me is simply because it has the concept of emergent behavior. Meaning, with ChatGPT, you kind of just talk and talk, and it's just continuous text, and you never really get anything done. But Feudal OS, get stuff done. You get it builds you for you all sorts of dashboards. It reminds you what to do, how to do it. You just run with it. You don't really think too much. You just execute it, and yeah, it's pretty good. But what becomes even better is Freedom Fusion System. Freedom Fusion System CRM is like oh my god, Freedom Fusion System CRM is the tea, guys. I use it together with Feudal OS. Here's how Feudal OS and OpenClaw and this entire seasonality of springtime comes in quite handy for me in my personal life. Number one, it identifies opportunities for me to execute that are a lot better than what I was able to achieve in last spring. Meaning, it recalls what I was doing last spring and stacks on top the next possibilities, the next side hustles that I could execute during this spring. This is why I'm using it so much. Plus, not only that, it literally like combines and my personal life, professional life, and of course, passionate life. It combines it together, finds it a mutual intersects of reasons for what I should be focusing, specifically in springtime. and it pulls information from my long-term memory through Obsidian Vault that sits on my NAS drive in my local storage. And now, how does it work in terms of like why is it better than ChatGPT? Why is it better than just OpenClaw or Manus AI or just on its own? Um, well, the reason why, guys, is because um, I managed to use Claude, the latest one that was leaked, and I connected to it in combination with all the other best things that I was building on before it was leaked. This is why it's better. Now, some of you will say, "Well, I don't get it. How can you use OpenClaw? How can you use Claude Code? How can you do all that? How do I know what it is?" So, guys, Claude Code was recently leaked. As soon as it was leaked, immediately I went ahead and I plugged that in into Feudal OS. So now Feudal OS doesn't just have emergent behavior, but it also has like the best parts of the actual Cloud Code. So without me spending $200 a month on Cloud Code, how crazy is that? Now, the best part about Feudal OS is that it integrates with Freedom Fusion System CRM, which basically has everything you need to convert your leads into loyal customers, meaning social media campaigns, meaning inbound voice bots, conversational bots, chat bots, like pretty much all the stuff that takes a long time to just build out with OpenClaw. Uh, it already has because it integrates with it. So, what does that mean in terms of springtime, in terms of side hustles, in terms of picking the best side hustle that makes sense for springtime season? Well, what that means, guys, is actually fairly easy. Uh, when I do any kind of side hustle, I need to make I need to ask a question. Will I make a lot of money doing this side hustle, or it's not worth my time? Now, it's a complex question. Before Feudal OS, I wasn't able to answer that question. But with Feudal OS, I'm able to answer precisely that question. Will I make the most money if I pick this side hustle over another one? So decision making to know in terms of knowing what to pick is the key, guys. If you want to learn more, definitely, guys, reach out, DM the word path on my Insta, and what you will learn is how to set up Feudal OS for your business. Now, your business could be optimized with Feudal OS exponentially, guys. Exponentially. I got to get going, guys. I'll see you next time.